Good evening. You're watching the Sultan of Oman Television English News. First, the headlines. As per royal orders of His Majesty Sultan Qaboos, the Sultanate receives a new batch of wounded Yemenis for medical treatment. The State Council Office discusses suggestion of establishing an Arabic language complex and reviews the general budget for the fiscal year 2019. Enhancing governance and sustainability concepts in the state institutions, top discussions at the first sustainability conference in Muscat. And implementation of water project linking governorates of Lahira to Suhar desalination plant starts at a cost of more than 152 million Omani Riyals. Those are the headlines, and now the news in detail. As per the royal orders of His Majesty Sultan Qaboos, the Sultanate received a new batch of wounded Yemenis for medical treatment. These royal orders come in continuation of the humanitarian endeavors carried out by the Sultanate to deal with the undergoing conditions in Yemen and to support the United Nations efforts to create conditions for the planned peace talks in Sweden. His Highness Said Shabib bin Taimur Al Said, advisor to His Majesty the Sultan for Environmental Affairs, presided over the Royal Cavalry annual horse race, which was held at the Timsa Race Course in the Wilaya of Nizwa. Our reporter Saleh bin Khafan Rahbi has more details in the following report.
In line with the wise vision of His Majesty Sultan Qaboos bin Said, may Allah protect him, to maintain equestrianism and to give credit and add to the Omani cultural history, the Royal Cavalry annual horse race was held this year at the Timsa Race Course in the Wilaya of Nizwa. The race included 5 rounds for pure Arabian horses. In the first race, named Nizwa Fort Race, for pure Arabian horses for 1,200 meters, the horse Idrak of the Royal Cavalry won the first place. In the second race, Bahla Fort, dedicated to the Arabian horses for 1,200 meters, the first place was won by Ibra Lady of the Royal Cavalry. The horse Khuzan, owned by Sheikh Salim bin Sulaiman Al Fayruz, won the first place in the third race, named Samal Castle, for the purebred Arabian horses, which ranked highest in the local racing season of 2018-2019.
This is a portable race course, we call it. This is the Royal Cavalry has arranged, of course, the Royal Court Affairs, and the Royal Cavalry has worked very hard for the past 6 months to make this race course ready. And as you've seen today, we had some of the shows in between the races, like the mounted band, and you had the local traditional humble, and then you have the Rakd al-Arda, which recently been recognized by the UNESCO for Oman, which is really good.
In the fourth race, Adam Castle, for the Arabian horses for a distance of 1,600 meters, the horse Lahib of the Royal Cavalry won the first place. The horse Mysore of the Royal Cavalry won the Cup of His Majesty Sultan Qaboos for the Arabian horses for a distance of 1,600 meters. In the fifth race, Ash-Shamukh Castle.
I am very happy Mysore has come back to race here, and because the horse is the best. He's from before, he's champion horse, but he have a little problem, but inshallah we do again, inshallah, with this horse, inshallah.
I'm very happy because the best horses won the race. You know, he was a champion when he was young. He had some trouble at the beginning of the season. Now he's back. Well done to the team of the Royal Cavalry. The trainer did a very good job to wait until this day, and he did it. It's a big success.
On the sidelines of the race, equestrian shows were held in addition to some traditional musical performances, mounted music display, Royal Household Troops Band display of a Shabaniya dance, humble display, children fun race, and Rakd al-Arda performance. The Royal Cavalry's annual horse race reflects the nation's rich historical and cultural heritage and the great care given by His Majesty Sultan Qaboos bin Said to preserve horsemanship. From Taimsa Race Course in the Wilaya of Nizwa, Salih bin Khalfan al-Rahbi, Al-Dakhiliya, Governorate.
His Excellency General Sultan bin Mohammed al-Naamani, Minister of the Royal Office, received in his office today His Excellency Mohammed bin Sultan al-Suwaidi, Ambassador of the United Arab Emirates to the Sultanate. The meeting exchanged cordial conversations and reviewed the march of the strong fraternal relations binding the two brotherly countries, as well as discussing ties of the existing cooperation and means of enhancing them to achieve the joint interests. The meeting also touched on several issues of common concern. The State Council Office reviewed during its meeting the state's general budget for the fiscal year 2019. The office discussed suggestions of culture and media committees on establishing Arabic language complex, which aimed to instill Omani role in Arabic language field as international reference. The office decided to include the suggestion in the topic studied by a special committee around linguistic policy in the Sultanate and aiding the suggestions of activating the Sultanate of Oman's role in enhancing Arabic content on the internet to the same committee to be studied. The office also discussed suggestions of regulating advertisements, which aim to classify various types of advertisements and means of their trading. In addition to unify its technical standards, the office decided to forward suggestions of the section. The meeting was chaired by His Excellency Dr. Yahya bin Mahfouz al-Mandari, Chairman of the State Council. Enhancing concept of governance and sustainability at all institutions in Sultanate topped the discussions of the first Sustainability Conference, which was inaugurated in Oman Conventions and Exhibition Center. The conference included a number of discussion sections such as developing sustainable strategies in the Sultanate and programs of social investment strategy. The conference aimed to promote governance and sustainability culture and concept among all organizations in the Sultanate. The opening ceremony witnessed participation of a number of officials, businessmen and decision makers in the field of sustainability from inside and outside the Sultanate. The inauguration ceremony was presided over by His Excellency Dr. Yahya bin Mahfouz al-Mandari, Chairman of the State Council. On the sidelines of the first Sustainability Conference, the Minister of Finance clarified that the aim of merging Oman Oil Company and Oman Refineries and Petroleum Industries Company, ORPIC, is to achieve integration process between governmental companies, reduce costs and maximize revenues. The minister clarified also that it assigned consultancy company to study in this merge, which say that revenues expected to gain from this merger may reach $3 billion during the period of applying this step. Public Authority for Electricity and Water started implementing project of linking Governorate of Dhahira and Sohar desalination plant through a 225 kilometers pipeline. The construction works of this vital project exceeds 152 million Omani Riyals. The project will work on achieving water security in the governorates, which go in line with population growth and increasing economic activities. The project includes 4 pumping stations and 9 water tanks with different capacities. The maximum capacity on the biggest tank is 150,000 cubic meters and the smallest capacity is 4,000 cubic meters. The phase of the project and mechanism of implementing and operating the project were reviewed in a visual presentation being presented by specialists from the Public Authority for Electricity and Water and the implementing company. The affiliates of Scouts and Guides celebrated the 35th anniversary of inauguration of His Majesty Sultan Qaboos as the Supreme Scout. The Scouting movement in the Sultanate aims to instill on its members positive values and principles and build their capabilities to participate actively in the society as well as serve the country. The event was accompanied by musical pieces and Scout shows as well as some artistic performances to express allegiance and loyalty to the Supreme Scout, His Majesty the Sultan. To become our news bulletin. Al-Manadar School is opened in the Amtikota area of the Wilaya of Makhshan in the Governorate of Dhofar. Welcome back to the news from the Sultanate of Oman Television. And on the international scene, United Nations Humanitarian Chief Mark Lowcock said today the United Nations in Geneva that extremely high levels of humanitarian need, driven mainly by armed conflicts, are generating enormous suffering and displacement that will continue in 2019. The UN and its partner organizations aim to assist $93.6 million of the most vulnerable with food, shelter, healthcare, emergency education, protection, and other basic assistance. Lowcock said the country with the biggest need in 2019 would be Yemen. They said the UN is planning to meet the needs of its 15 million people. The appeal for Yemen is about going to be for $4 billion. In total, in 2018, the humanitarian community delivered aid to millions of people in 41 countries. In conclusion, the UN's top humanitarian officials said that addressing the causes of crisis would have to become a greater focus for the future. Iranian President Hassan Rouhani has threatened again to close the Strait of Hormuz, the passageway for nearly a third of all oil trading by the sea. Rouhani said today that if the United States decided to block Iran's oil exports, then no oil will be exported from the Persian Gulf. The strait, which separates Iran and Oman's Musandam Peninsula, is crucial to global energy supplies. Rouhani pledged to a crowd in the southeast city of Shahrud that the U.S. would not be able to prevent Iran's oil exports. United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres said today that pressure needs to be put on governments to make sure they assume their full responsibilities to tackle climate changes. Guterres and Polish Prime Minister Mateusz Morawiecki spoke at the COP24 UN Climate Conference in Katowice, Poland, at the opening of the Global Climate Action High-Level event. The UN Secretary General said he believed those that bet on the green economy will be the winners over the next few decades, and those who do not will lose out. Morawiecki said it required intensifying action to tackle climate change, and it was our children and grandchildren who will feel the effects of the decision they take today. Representatives from almost 200 countries have gathered in the southern Polish city to discuss how they will ensure they meet the target set out in the 2015 Paris Agreement.
Those that will not bet in the green economy will be the losers of the economy of the next decades. Those that will bet in the green economy.
America's capital, Washington, embraced the death of George H.W. Bush with solemn ceremony and high tributes to his service and decency as the remains of the 41st president took their place in the Capitol Rotunda for a 3-day of mourning and praise by the political elite and everyday citizens alike. With Bush's casket atop the Lincoln catafalque first used for Abraham Lincoln's 1865 funeral, people filed past the coffin to honor the Texan, whose effort for his country extended 3/4 of a century from World War II through to his final years. Bush was elected president in 1988 and served a single term. He died Friday at the age of 94. An invitation-only funeral service, which the Trumps will attend, is set tomorrow at Washington National Cathedral. Although Bush's funeral services are suffused with the flourishes accorded presidents by his choice, they will not include formal funeral processions through downtown Washington. His final resting place will be alongside the Barbara Bush, his wife of 73 years, who died in April, and Robin Bush, the daughter they lost to leukemia in 1953 at the age of 3. Back for some more local news. A workshop on consumer opportunities and challenges in the digital era in the Middle East and North Africa was held in the Governorate of Muscat. It witnessed a participation from experts in information technology, communications and consumer protection from inside and outside the Sultanate, as well as a number of private and public sector institutions. It's worth mentioning that there are around 380 million consumers in the Middle East and the North African region, as the workshop shed light on the researchers that focus on the mechanism that enable the consumers to reach the digital services and interact with them. It also reviewed topics related to digital economy and innovative solutions in the region. The technical committee concerned with urban planning stages in its meeting today discussed 74 topics related to planning and technical aspects. The meeting reviewed 33 topics from the governorates of North Sharqiya and 30 others from South Sharqiya, as well as 11 topics from the rest of the governorates. The matters discussed were related to providing lands for various uses and the increase in the lands with economic and investment benefits. The meeting was headed by His Excellency Engineer Saif bin Amr al-Shakhsi, Under Secretary of the Ministry of Housing, Chairman of the committee. The market opportunities in the field of emerging technologies and basics of works with establishing commercial businesses topped the lecture of Dr. Balqasim Habba, the chief guest of the ceremony of Sultan Qaboos Award for Excellences in E-Government Services at the Sultan Qaboos University. The lecture encouraged entrepreneurs to look forward for serving society as success key and searching for good marketing skills to be within the work team. It's worth mentioning that Balqasim Habba is considered as one of the best 100 inventors in the world by recording around 490 American patents. The theme, Innovative Solutions for Sustainable Municipal Work, the activities of the forum for the exchange of experiences and expertise between Muscat and Sohar Municipality kicked off. 2 weeks forum reviews challenges and strategies of developing municipal work. It as well reviews experiences and successful administrative solutions to improve municipal work in various fields. The opening ceremony was presided over by His Excellency Engineer Mohsen bin Mohammed Al-Sheikh, Chairman of Muscat Municipality. Al-Manadra School for Basic Education in the Mtikota Desert in the Wilaya of Makhshan is a fine example of the government's keenness towards providing educational services to the Omani citizens, no matter the conditions in place. The school used to be a small old building, and after efforts exerted by the bodies concerned, the new school building was built near the residential areas. It's occupied or equipped with all the necessary facilities and modern technologies to provide the best education for the students in the area. An official ceremony was held for the opening of the school that included various activities. This is the Sultan of Oman television. Before we enter tonight's bulletin, here are the main points once again. As per orders of His Majesty Sultan Qaboos, the Sultanate received a new batch of wounded Yemenis for medical treatment. The State Council Office discusses suggestions of establishing an Arabic language complex and reviews the general budget for the fiscal year 2019. Enhancing governance and sustainability concepts, the state institutions' top discussions as the first sustainability conference in Muscat. And implementation of water project linking governorates of Wahira and Sohar desalination plants starts at a cost of more than 152 million Omani riyals. And with that, we come to the end of tonight's news bulletin. From all of us here in the newsroom and the studios, thanks for watching. Good night.